As the final buzzer sounded on the Pistons' 2023 season, two die-hard fans, Mickey and Harry, each passed out and witnessed a vision. They were visited by Detroit's very own mascot, Hooper, the stallion ablaze, who told them the only way the Pistons would ever win a championship again was if these two men started a podcast. To be clear, they said, do we really have to do this? I mean, aren't there enough Pistons podcasts already? It seems like this might be overkill. But Hooper dunked on them, right in their face, and said, your team needs you. He presented them with a prophecy. Now it is their duty to help Detroit rise again and become champions. The Order of the Blazing Horse. Welcome to the first winning episode of Order of the Blazing Horse, your only Detroit Pistons podcast based on a mystical prophecy. I am one of those prophets, Harry Morrows, joined as always by my good buddy and co-prof,
Mickey Jacobs. What is going on, Harry? Congrats on the victory.
Thank you so much. May the 3 and D be with me and the dub as well, and may the 3 and D and dub be with you, Mickey.
And likewise unto thee. How do you feel about it? How do you feel about the game?
Bro, I'm feeling good because that was a game they should have won. Like, no Embiid,
needed it.
No Paul George. They've been competitive in all these other games. They had the better players overall. Like, I know Maxey is like, people are saying he's on a different level. I put him and Cade on the same level of talent, truly. And then you have Ivy. Ivy's kind of better than everybody on, especially based on this season. He's better than everybody on Philadelphia's team, and they're just healthier at this point. So I expect them to come out to win this game, to put it down, and they did. It was a statement win. They had the lead for almost the whole thing, and I don't know. I feel good about it. How do you feel about it?
Me too. I agree. I think it was absolutely a must win. Maybe not overall. Like it's not like the whole season hinged on that game, but I think like existentially, culturally, we needed that dub really bad. We were talking about it. That was a game that they had to win because Philly was so shorthanded. We had everyone that we've been having. We can't start another streak, and we snapped it at 4.
Mm-hmm.
Also ready to turn over a new leaf.
Snapped 8 losses in a row to Philadelphia, and hadn't won in Philadelphia since 2017. So huge. And huge. Not to interrupt, but just while we're on the whole streak thing, our next game is tomorrow against the New York Knicks, and that is an even longer streak. I think that one's like 9 games, maybe some more. Don't quote me on that. I know it's a longer streak, and it sucks. Also, we should have beat them last time we played them, but Dante DiVincenzo could have got signed by the Detroit Lions instead of being traded to the Timberwolves after that tackle he had on Asar. So
seriously,
we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. We've got a tough early schedule, so it's important to snag those dubs when we can. It's funny you talking about how long it's been since we beat certain teams. I think during the Boston game, I learned that Xavier Tillman has never lost to the Pistons.
Oh my God. For real?
Yeah. Apparently. That's what they were saying on the broadcast.
He's played a lot of games.
Yeah. So, it's good that we'll start to change tradition a little bit here, run away with a couple dubs. But no, it's good. It's good. It was really good to see the backcourt working.
Oh my God. Thank Hooper for like telling us to come on here and do this little thing. I feel like once we started doing the podcast, things changed a little bit. I'm not saying it's because of us, but Hooper's saying it's because of us.
He's saying it a lot.
I mean, it's straight from the horse's mouth. You heard it. We're the changers here. But I know this is going all over social media, but can you believe that Ivy was getting benched under Killian Hayes last year after watching Ivy destroy this year? His stats are kind of crazy when you're looking at him. Let me look at some Jaden Ivey stats that I've got up here. He's averaging 21.2 points a game, 4.4 rebounds, 3.6 assists, 2 turnovers a game. He's shooting crazy from 3 right now. I think he's shooting like 50% from 3 or something like that. The numbers are good. He looks good. He looks fast. He looks confident. And his defense is also, people are like, he's like a neutral defender. I think he's actually a fine defender. He's athletic enough to get in front of people, when he gets beat by him, he's gotten blocks from behind, he gets the second chances. He locked up Maxey on a couple plays, which is all you can ask for, I think, when you're looking for defense. You got to get some growth on here. He hasn't been jumping up as much. Him and Cade together are averaging 47 points a game, something like that. Wow. That's pretty good for a backcourt. I'm really happy with it. Tell me your feelings on the whole backcourt situation.
It's amazing. I mean, I still believe that as soon as Cade throws Ivy a lob, like everything's gonna crystallize and they're gonna like combine forms into like some ultimate Piston backcourt god with the speed of Ivy and the IQ and shiftiness of Cade. But it's really good to see, and I feel like they have this kind of like, it's not Batman and Robin, it's like Batman and Spider-Man, you know, where like you go do your thing for a few possessions, then I come in and relieve you and like play like a totally different way, but it's just as much pressure on the defense. It's really cool to see them kind of pick up each other's slack. And yeah, I really hope this Ivy shooting isn't temporary, because it's only been 5 games and we've seen him had really hot stretches in the past, but like you said, it seems different.
It was in the preseason too, though. Like that's something like we can say it was 5 games, but then also 5 preseason games. So
he was even better in preseason. He was crazy in preseason.
So he's shooting lights out. We have a legit shooting coach. It's awesome. It's really awesome. The thing that like cemented to me that Ivy is having a different kind of year this year is he hit all 3 of those slams this year in that game yesterday. That I remember like last year and the year before, there were a couple of breakaway slams where he tried to do something and it didn't work out all that great. He hit the windmill smiling. It was so great to see. I'm so happy for him. He's playing control. He looks good. He looks fast. What a believer. I'm so happy for him. I'm happy the team is playing together as a whole and like making things happen. I'm happy the defensive rotations look better. I mean, not 100% of the time, but it's much improved from last year. We also got to take in mind 2 of their first 3 games were against the 2 greatest offenses in NBA history. So what do you expect? You know, like they were close to both. They were really close to both. I mean, Cleveland beat us bad, but I think that was the sloppiest game that the Pistons played the entire time. I mean, Miami was pretty rough too. That just like kind of fell apart, but the 76ers game looked pretty good. So I'm happy with the way they've been playing. They haven't gotten blown out yet, and almost every other team that's like on their level has been blown out like pretty significantly. One thing that like I'm seeing a lot of, I know this is more analysis than comedy at the moment. We'll get to the comedy. We'll get to the funnies. Right. We got funny stuff coming. But like one thing I'm seeing a lot of, because you know I'm following the games along on Twitter while I'm watching them, and whenever a run happens against the Pistons, everyone's like, oh my God, here we go again. It's over. We're giving up. We can't stop these runs. Every team gives up runs every game. That is how basketball works. It is a game of runs, and it's, can you withstand them all, or can you get past them all, or are you in control of most of them? But you're almost never going to be in the lead, constantly in control from the get-go. I would love to see what the smallest run given up in the NBA game is, but I don't. It's stressful because I think we're all traumatized from last season. And whenever a run happens, you're like, oh yeah, I remember when they had 20 points on Boston last year at the half, and that was gone in the blink of an eye.
Absolutely. I can't relax until we're up by 20 with 2 minutes to go in the 4th. And even then I'm like, I've seen crazier stuff. You never know. That losing, it's contagious, and it like sneaks up on you, and we're all expecting the worst a lot.
I mean, we lost the first 4 games, so I understand it. I'm trying to be better about it with my own anxiety, being like, hey, yeah, they're going to run, but then we'll go on a run. And we have shown this year the Pistons are very capable of going on runs. They have that ability. They've got good ball movement. Ivy and Cade. Cade has looked like a friggin' monster, like an absolute monster in these games. Just so dominant. That third quarter he had where he scored. I guess he's had 2 third quarters where he scored like 17 and 18 points. But like the dude's a beast right now. His 3-point shooting is excellent. His assists, his rebounds are great. In all honesty, he should have more assists than he does. We'll get to why in a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's a promising start to the season, even though the record is the same as it was for the Pistons last year through 5 games, oddly enough. But I have better expectations of how it goes. Hopefully, this last win was just this little ray of sunshine to break through the ice, to get them going on a little run, give them some confidence in the fourth quarter. But Mickey, as you know, we were talking about how to spice this podcast up. We need some segments. Do you agree? We need some segments on this.
I think so too. Yeah, we need a little spice, and we need some segments to spice that up. Add a little kick.
We want to be beefier. We want to add some real beef to this podcast.
Get some protein in this pod.
Mm-hmm. And we're not talking muscle milk. We're talking sweat, blood, tears, and complaints. People got complaints, tons of complaints. I'm sure you heard them. I'm sure you live by them. I'm sure you're dealing with them. But we got questions about them because we don't know how we feel about them as a whole. There are a lot of things to talk about with the Pistons, a lot of concerns that you might have. But we want to know in this segment, is it real beef or a nothing burger?
Real beef or nothing burger.
This is so great too because it's so easy to overreact to early takes, but not us. We're gonna definitively say whether a bunch of these topics are real beef, just a nothing bird.
Is there a topic you want to start with as far as definitively goes?
Yeah, how about we do a classic? It's been with us since Cade has been with us. Let's talk turnovers.
Boom. Cade's turnovers. Oh, that's a hideous text. I'm going to change real quick. But tell me.
No, leave it.
No, I don't like the color scheme. The color scheme's so brutal, Mickey. It's so brutal.
But it matches how I feel about Cade's turnovers.
Red and blue?
I don't like them.
No, you don't like
it. Well, it's just, yeah. They're a little ugly,
All right, we're going to go white and red. That's a little bit easier on my eyes.
Sure.
Okay, so, Mickey, you got to tell me, you got real beef? Or do you think this is just a big old nothing burger?
As much as I would love to say that it's a nothing burger, I might have real beef with this one. And I just wanted to preface this by saying Cade's playing great. He is scoring efficiently, rebounding. The defense has been so good too. Like to be able to rely on him for a couple stock or two, really huge for us. But the turnovers, I think, are a huge reason we lost 4 of those games. I think it is a little bit of a pet peeve of mine in general, just turnovers as an issue. But I also just think it costs momentum. There's something about it that's just like especially demoralizing during a game. And also, huge fan of Cade, got the ticket up here. A lot of them are avoidable. A lot of them are sloppy turnovers that could they're not even like, can't blame the spacing. They're not a matter of like, just getting blitzed. Although some of them are, but I think just telegraphing passes, not thinking or just making a move before you think about it. A little concerning. What do you think?
Okay. I've thought about it, and I accept that the numbers are bad. He's averaging 5.6 turnovers a game. Granted, inflated a little bit because Jimmy Butler's a fucking asshole and picked up that steal at the end of the game. Like, what a friggin' move for him to do that whole crap. But I get it. Do your whole thing. And, like, you're right. The turnovers do look careless. Like, sometimes sloppy. Maxey straight up just stripped it from him on the handle last game. And in the fourth quarter, when he gets like double teamed and stuff, the turnovers are pretty bad. Sometimes on the roll, they bounce off, like pass it a little errant. It's kind of rough to watch. However, I'm not that worried about him as a whole for a couple reasons. The first being, this was an issue at the start of the season last year, too. He was leading the league in turnovers, right about the same amount, like just over 5 turnovers a game. That lasted like 15 games or so. And then by the end of the season, he's averaging 3.4 turnovers per game. I'm looking through his stats in his career. 3.7, 3.3, 3.4. That's about the amount of turnovers he is like averaging on the regular. I expect him to get back to that, especially when he gets more comfortable with his team. We have to take in mind, like, half this team is new for him, and the other half is like still trying to figure out who they are. The other reason that I'm not like so upset about it, why I think it's kind of a nothing burger, is I've watched his handle improve. And I'm not talking about like keeping it tighter, but his moves, like getting around defenders, his wiggle, it is vastly superior to what it's been in the, like, there have been like 5 ankle breaks this year and like just some crazy in and outs that he's had. So I think while that's better, his handle as a whole is better. And I think a lot also of where these turnovers are coming, like even last game, the turnovers are coming over in the fourth quarter, primarily when he's trying to do too much to like win the game. I think as the team gets more comfortable, as the wins are coming, now that the stress and the anxiety of not having that first win has been lifted off their shoulders, off his shoulders primarily, he doesn't have to try to force as much stuff as he can, play hero ball to try to get that first win. And I do want him to like take over and be like that fourth quarter guy, but he doesn't need to in the same way now where it was like, you know, trying to get out of the muck, essentially, and having all that stink over you this entire time. So I wouldn't be surprised if they started to dip down in the next week or so, in all honesty. So to me, it's a nothing burger. Have I convinced you, or are you still feeling kind of bad about it?
You know what? I hope you're right, because he did nip the turnover thing in the bud last season. And this season, first of all, shooting's been good. Everything else has been pretty great. And I don't know. I feel like he'll repeat that. And I think the assists are going to go up anyway, because I think hopefully vets and teammates are just going to keep making shots. That would help.
It would help. That brings me to my first concern. And this, I think, I could have real beef with this. And part of it's because I've been burned before, year after year. I've got concerns about the vet contributions. I know it might sound silly. It might seem a little bit silly to be concerned. But bro, I am. I don't know what to say other than that. I'm looking at these guys that are expected to come in like nail shots at the end of the game, be there to help, but we're 0-4 because we keep not closing out these games. And I know I just talked about Cade like taking over in the fourth quarter. He's not the only one. And like I said, he's passing to open guys. Tobias Harris is brutal from the three-point land right now. Like, I know he had a nice game yesterday as far as the finish up went. He ended up with 18 points, 14 rebounds. That's great. His defense has actually been pretty good. I'm shocked by that because I thought it was going to be horrible. Let me pull up the Tobias Harris three-point shooting stats, if I can. From the field, Tobias Harris is 23 of 62 for 37%. That's from the field. That's bad.
Yikes.
That's bad. From three, the man is 3 of 20. That's a SAR numbers for a pro, for a seasoned vet, for somebody who is a starter who you're supposed to rely on for shooting. And there have been several huge misses of his, wide open threes, wide open corner threes. In the Boston game, he missed 2, I think, wide open corner threes in the fourth quarter. That kind of blew it for Detroit. Again, should be more Cade assists, should be more like distance. It should give you some breathing room at the end of the games. That's been concerning. One that I'm surprised by that I was not expecting to be concerned about, Simone Fontecchio is having a horrible season right now. He's 6 of 24 from the field. That's 25% from the floor as a whole. 5 of 17 from 3. That's under 33%. He's better than that, and the shots he's taking are looking bad. He looks a little bit lost out there, and it sucks to see because he was so good for us last year. And I'm concerned that maybe he can only play that well if he's playing with Cade specifically in the starting lineup, which he's not at right now. And I know some people want him there in the starting lineup. I kind of don't, because I mean, this is another vet that's doing okay. Like, I think Tim Hardaway Jr. is doing pretty decently, and Malik Beasley he's pretty decently. He had a bad game, but, you know, like, whatever. But if we're going by, like, the 4 vets we have, more concerning than not. But I'm not going to put in Fontecchio for Tim Hardaway Jr. when Tim Hardaway Jr. is playing the way he is. And if the only way he can play well is in the starting lineup, that's a concern Tell me how you're feeling.
I want to chalk a lot of this up to sample size, and also just the new team gelling. Because I agree with you. I fully expected Tech to start, um, and that's not what's been happening. And he's not getting a ton of minutes. What is it, like between 10 and 15
Something like
a
that.
game or something? Um, we're gonna have stretches where Malik Beasley and Tim Hardaway Jr. are really hot, and we're gonna have stretches where they're really cold. And I think Tobias has been bad, like especially from deep. He looked very good during preseason. Um, not all of these misses are tough luck misses. Um, my hope is just that they're gonna fall, and maybe just everyone didn't fully know what their role was, which I guess you could chalk up to coaching if that's true. But I think Ivy's emergence, if we can knock on wood and just sort of hope that Ivy's going to keep producing as much and as efficiently as he has been. Maybe Tobias went from thinking he was going to be a number 2 option. Now it's like a number 3 option. In theory, that's less work, but it's still an adjustment. So hopefully things click and he can kind of sense when the young guys are having trouble getting the offense going, or if we really just need a clutch stop. Whatever it is, he can step in and relieve that the young guys, just having not been there before, can't seem to do on their own.
You know what? I can't believe I didn't think of the whole role situation concerning Tobias when we're talking about Fontecchio with the same sort of situation. That actually does make a lot of sense. He is recovering from COVID. And like we have proof of concept those guys are good. So I probably am making more out of it nothing. I'm with you. Let's go nothing Burger on the vet contributions. Better than last year, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're seeing Malik Beasley, who's not the world's greatest defender, be pesky. It seems like everyone's bought in. So I think maybe, hopefully, let's just give this a little time and see how things gel. The nice thing too is that like we didn't spend so much on these guys. Like I still don't actually think the Tobias Harris contract is that much, although if he keeps playing like this, it's gonna seem like a ton. But we have flexibility. If it's not working with these guys, we can cut bait. And hopefully the young guys will, by the end of this season, be good enough to start, surrounding them with bigger boys, better boys.
Bigger, better boys. Yeah. Get some red and white checkered overalls on these boys. Get them big boys. Get me, you know the look. That was a good look. You could be that guy. Can you put the one hand up with the pancakes or whatever? Yeah, there we go.
Next year, Halloween.
You can pull it off, man.
That's a good idea.
That'd be a sick costume, for real. That would be
good.
Sick. Get your lady to go as the pancakes.
Oh man, that's the dream.
All right, give me what else? What other chatter do you hear? What other concerns you got?
Okay, thing I'm legitimately concerned about, as cool as it's been seeing Ivy seemingly break out, seeing some struggling for Jalen Duren.
Mm-hmm.
It's a contract year, and it's cool to see him getting some more swats, some more stocks. The rebounding, the scoring, and the passing is all kind of what we're used to. The defense is becoming a problem, even with the blocks. I worry about his switchability, and I think that especially against like a stretch big like Karl Anthony Towns, who plays for the Knicks, who we're gonna play really soon.
Let's just put Stu on him, please, dear God.
Yeah, and I'm not even talking about the fact that he just fouled out, but I was thinking more of like those 3 Miles Turner threes that he gave up. And it seems like a lot of times too, blown assignments have some sort of connection to him. Like I can't say specifically it's his fault every time someone doesn't close out, or 2 guys don't know who they're supposed to be on. But I feel like he's usually involved. And he's very young. But if you can't stay in games because of foul trouble, and you can't switch, and you can't space the floor, how much do I feel comfortable paying you? So for me, I might have some real beef. What do you?
No, I didn't think you rambled at all. I think they're all incredibly valid points, and I I want to say it's kind of a nothing burger because I think people are making too much out of it. I get that it's a contract year. He's got to be better, but I think people expected him to just like have a magic wand waved in front of him, and all of a sudden his defense is going to be great. We got to remember his defense was putrid last season and the season before, like really, really bad. And teams know that too. It's not like it's I forgot we scored during. They're game planning it. They're going after him. They were going after him in the preseason. They were going after him in the regular season. It's how it goes. But we are seeing improvement. We are seeing the stocks go up on Duren. He's averaging over a block a game right now, 1.2 blocks a game, only 0.2 steals, but 1.2 block. He is becoming vertically pesky in front of people. It's a little bit better. The switchability is still a problem. I'll give you that. But it is a learning process for him, and I don't expect it to be an overnight change. I guess the major concern, though, is you have to decide if he's going to take like a major step while you sign him to the next contract or not. So if right now I'm at it's a nothing burger because it's the start of the season, it's a new defensive scheme, and I am seeing him improve. But defensively, he's so much worse than Stu, like so much worse than Stu. It's not even close, really. I think I think it's like a pretty significant difference, and I'm not talking about stocks. Stocks, it's just 1.4 compared to 1.8. But Stu's a much bigger deterrent. You can feel it when he's out there. He can switch. He could guard Cat, I think, a lot better. So you know what? I guess I am with you. I do think I have real beef with it, but only because it's a contract year. If this was like last year, I'd be like, we're seeing improvement. That's good. We have 2 years to figure it out. But right now we have one season figured out, and he's got a lot of ground to cover, and he's proved on the court he's not great at covering ground, unfortunately.
Get him.
Get him.
And
sorry.
It's also like important. No, not at all.
I was
think
apologizing
it's
to Duren. I like him, and I think he's a good player. I'm just a little concerned.
Me too. And I like him a lot. And I do think, and I feel like I've actually heard that he doesn't like when people bring this up. He is 20 years old. He is. Listen to me, just mad at Gen Z for not having it all figured out.
He hasn't even legally been able to take his shirt off at a bar yet.
Yeah. Soon. Very soon, actually. And I'm going to be there. But
hey, I'll have my tank off as well, whipping around my head like it's a helicopter, like I'm in North Carolina in February, Detroit cold.
You got to pop the T for JD. But he has a lot of time. I mean, he doesn't have a ton of time, but if it weren't a contract year, it would be fine to let this ride. But with money on the table, I was trying to think though, like, let's say you don't extend him, like there's not a lot of like great centers available or like the teams are trying to move off of. Like it seems like, I don't know, like you either get into age issues, like, as much as I was looking up that Miles Turner is a free agent, I think in 2025. He is injury prone. He's happy with his current team and expensive. And it's not a lot of straightforward answers to that, but hopefully Duren can shore up that D. We'll see.
Yeah, it's tough. It'll also be a little bit better if his offense is a little bit better so far this season, but it's not great right now.
Right.
So he's having a little rough start to the year. Ivy's making him look worse because Ivy's playing so well. That being said, I think Duren has always been afforded the opportunity to show what he can do, and Ivy wasn't, so it's a little bit of like perspective there. But since we're on the topic of bigs, because we have 3 on the team, but 2 are playing really. There's another concern I have in the big department because this guy shined yesterday defensively, but Man, those hands, beef stew, it is rough for my guy. All right, so let me go into my little tirade. Tirade? How do you pronounce it? Tirade? Tirade. My little tirade. Oh, the T-Rex tirade. But like Stu's defense, we've been over it. It's sick. It's awesome. He brings physicality. He brings energy. Awesome. When he was playing the 4 last year, they were getting him to pop out and shoot threes. That was great. I was all about it. He was always hesitant to shoot the 3, and I didn't love that, but I was like, okay, now he's got a year under his belt. He'll start taking more. That's not the case this year, and it sucks. He's taken 1 3-pointer all year, and I'm granted 5 games. It was in the first game. He hasn't taken another 3 since then. He's not even thinking about it. And in that first game, he passed up 2 opportunities to shoot more. Bro, that's what you can do. Do it. I would love for you to do it. Have some fucking faith in yourself. Pardon my French. I know you're a country boy like me. I've seen your farm Instagram and TikToks. We can relate on that matter. But my man, take a 3. Pretend like you're out in the field. Just throw it up there. You got a shot. Please, dear God, use it because you don't have hands. My man is hard as hell, and so are those fingers. It's like they're made of stone. Every time he rolls to the basket, I see a bounce happen. It's truly like he can't close his fingers. It's like he's got statue hands. And I love that he finishes sometimes. He has 11 shots on the season total. He has 11 shots. He's averaging 3 points a game, and teams know that he's not that much of a threat. His stone hands are responsible for several Cade turnovers. He's not a lob threat on the offense, so that kind of sucks. He sets great screens. That's good. He's not a good ball mover. He's a terrible dribbler. Like, it's a real problem. I love the guy. The defense is incredible. I love the defense from him, but my God, man, I need to see more out of you than this. And we've had years to see it. He was put in a place to do more of that stuff last year, and it's like regression at this point. Talk me down.
I'll try. So, yeah, why? I was thinking about why he's not taking more threes, and I remember last year, his best distance shooting year, he was all alone out there. He had time and he needed time. He's like a square your shoulders, plant your feet, like get right kind of shooter. He can't just let it fly. So you're right. He's definitely had opportunities that he's turned down, but it could also just be the offense isn't really making room for it. Like I feel like he would pop more, which I guess is what you're saying. Like he should have opportunities to do that. And I agree because he's basically doing this like baby Ben Wallace thing where he like doesn't necessarily score at all, but he'll rack up like 11 boards real quick. Even if some of those boards are like his missed layup rebounds.
Yeah, there was all this talk online yesterday. It's like, Stu has 7 rebounds in 5 minutes. I'm like, yeah, 4 of those came on 4 Stu misses or like just like bouncy stuff right around the edge, man.
Yeah. But we need him now. Like if yesterday's win is any indication, we certainly need someone that can do that. I think once this Duren thing gets figured out, if it gets figured out, maybe that'll change things. But I think there's absolutely precedent for him to close games as he has been. And maybe I've seen some people floating that he should start. I think with our team, who starts is like a little arbitrary. Like, you know, we're talking about like Tim Hardaway Jr. and Ivy, and like subs happen pretty quick and things change. And, you know, I will say I like that JB's keeping a pretty tight rotation.
Hell yeah. Like, no shade to Sasser, who I love. I think Sasser's a great player. No shade to Paul Reed, B-Ball Paul. But we look more competitive, man. The burning of the bench worked.
Yeah. Totally. Well, and when Duren got into foul trouble, I was like, it's time for Paul Reed minutes. I was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Did he play at all?
I don't think so. I think it was all Stu.
I think it was all Stu.
Yeah. By the way, not to go back to our burning of the sacred fire or what, cleansing of the cleansing fire, whatever, or the
ritual of the cleansing fire.
Thank you. Sorry, my bad, Hooper. The ritual of the cleansing fire. We did. We got out of control. Ivy's gone. Great. All bench. great. Health, for the most part, that's pretty good. 3 and D, yes. They've been shooting threes. Some people have been making three. The defense has been better. The only thing that really hasn't worked out are the Cade turnovers.
Turnovers, my guy.
I probably should have burnt a box of pastries instead of just the one.
Should have burned a real pastry.
Yeah. I would never let one go to waste. Go to Bear Bakes, downtown Ypsilanti.
That would be insane.
Incredible stuff.
Sorry, say that again. I stepped on the plug.
You're fine. The plug is Bear Bakes at Ypsilanti in downtown. It's incredible stuff. Open on Wednesday through Sunday before 2 p.m. Be there. But do you feel like we covered the Stu offense pretty decently? I think we've.
Yeah.
I think we did it okay. Can I give another beef, a real beef that I'm kind of concerned about?
That was a beef, by the way.
It was a beef. It was double. That was chunky beef stew. It was a exponential beef. Stu-O's would be a great name for like a beefaroni sort of thing, like a spaghetti.
Absolutely.
But with beef stew.
Take my money.
Let's make it happen. The NFL doesn't need the chunky soup. We got to get beef stew in there. He's got the nickname already. Cold fourth quarters is what concerns me. And my man, very cold. Very cold indeed. We've had leads, I think, in the fourth quarter in 4 out of the 5 games. Everyone but the Cavs game.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's not great.
Been in the lead, and I mean, like, right down to it. Right down to it. Let me read off some stats for you that I pulled up. I went and I tracked on Yahoo like the shots, misses, and makes in the fourth quarter. Point totals in the fourth quarter, 5 games. The first game, 19 points. That's bad. Then 22, 25, 19, 20. That's horrible. Those
Yikes.
are very low point total numbers. They've been outscored by 7 points per game in the fourth quarter alone. That's bad. Their shooting percentage. Let's go over their shooting percentage from the field. First game, 3 of 16. Second game, 6 of 18. Third game, 8 of 24. Fourth game, 6 of 22. Last game, 8 of 18. They're shooting 31.6% from the field. From the field in the fourth quarter. From 3, they are 14 out of 50, shooting 28% from 3. We brought in 3-point shooting specialists. We're getting wide open shots. There are opportunities here. It's not like they're being run out. This is a mental problem. I brought it up with the Cade turnover situation. Everyone's in this mindset about like, oh my God, it's the fourth quarter. We need to close it out. They're trying to do too much, and they fall apart. They fall apart like that Sugar Ray song. Yeah, she falls apart. They might as well. And it is terrifying to me because you got to protect those leads. The runs thing, that's one thing, but in the fourth quarter, I don't care if you haven't been there in the NBA before. You've been there at some point. You've played winning basketball. You should know how to do this. Some of these vets should know how to do this. They should know how to be there. I'm concerned. Tell me how you feel about it, bud.
I'm going to sort of lump this in with my veterans aren't living up to their end answer. I'm going to just say it's going to take time. They're going to get hotter. And they're going to understand what's needed of them after this first 5 games. So I'm going to say they'll be able to sort of sense like, Cade's getting blitzed. We got to help him. Like, let's step in here. Tobias, I don't care if you shot 30% from the field that whole game. Right now, we need 3 quick ones from you. We need a clutch block. We need – because, the offense dries up and it feels impossible to get a stop at a certain point. And even if we do, if we can't capitalize, what's the point? But I think they will start to nip this in the bud. And I think Cade and Ivy are also going to get better and better too.
Yeah.
So, we already talked about how we think Cade's turnovers are going to be something that decrease throughout the season. If so, in theory, with that alone, the fourth quarter numbers get better. So,
you know what? I think you're right. I know I'm just stressed because I was looking at those numbers and I was like, this is insane. Like it's so bad. But you're right. Cade and Ivy, they're just getting comfortable as a backcourt pairing right now, and that's only going to get better once they gets into a regular flow, which is good. I can't say that like all the vets have been bad. Tim Hardaway Jr. is shooting nuts right now. He's shooting 53.3% from 3. Which is good. Malik Beasley's 37, even though he's been like old sometime. Like These guys they're there for it. They can do it. They're not afraid to take those shots. I appreciate that. A little streaky. I'll take it. And you're right. We are just getting to know each other. We're just getting together. They're just realizing how it's happening as far as like how Cade works and stuff like that. JB's figuring it out. I believe in JB. I think the players believe in JB too. They certainly seemed like it. They covered that man in Champaign after that win, like they just made the playoffs.
Love that.
And bro, Cade is dapping everybody up. He was so up on Tobias when he got that poster slam over Caleb Martin the fourth. I love it. Like I know this is like woe is fourth quarter as a whole, but there have been, I know I'm like kind of going on a tangent here. There have been things from Cade that I love to see, like how much he daps up his teammates and like how excited he gets for them. I believe chemistry is not a problem on this team. I think it's just history getting into their heads, and hopefully you win enough games to get out of it. Hopefully, like I said, that this last game was just one to get him out of here. Do you have any concerns outside of that?
No, I think you make a great argument about Cade too, and I think not to speak a notorious name here, an infamous name, but when Troy Weaver drafted Cade, he talked about how they needed a leader, and I think even if to dig up an old feud is the whole Cade Jalen Green thing. Apparently we weren't gonna, like, they didn't know right up until draft day like who they were gonna pick, and basically they didn't know that it was gonna be Cade until they made that decision. Like, all right, we need a leader, but I think like Cade's willingness and like desire to share the ball, like be really empathetic to his teammates, get really excited for them. And I'm not saying Jalen Green doesn't do that, but I just don't think he's that leader. And I like that basically like Cade isn't solely concerned with just getting his stats, getting his numbers, as much as I think Jalen Green kind of seems to be, even though he can fill it up.
Yeah, you can fill it up. I'm kind of shocked. Like, even at the time, I was shocked that it was a close conversation, because I remember watching Cade play at Oklahoma State and being like, this is the guy. There aren't players like him. He's a 6'6"
quarterback
bully.
Vibes.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he's incredible. We have to remember that, like, I was watching, oh my God, I think it was the Boston game, and I was watching the Boston stream because I'm an illegal man, and they're like, Cade Cunningham, kind of a down year last year, and I was like, did you see his stats last year on that team? He had kind of, get out of here. The dude is smoking good. He's incredible.
Nobody knows.
They really don't.
Like, they're gonna know. Can we move on? Because I got a beef.
What's your beef? Give me your beef.
Well, it's sort of related to what we're talking about with Cade, because he gets a ton of slander in the media and or just no one talking about him. And I think that the difference between him being a player that a lot of people talk about and just another decent player are free throws. So it's been better this season thus far. There's been some free throws, but I forget which game it was. It might be the one where he had like 30 something points. I think he had like 6 free throws. Is that right? That if you can do that every game, you won't just be, oh wow, look, Cade's the best player on the Pistons. I think that's when you really start to get into head-turning, undeniable all-star teams related conversations. So would love to see him do that, especially coming off of his first healthy year. He's not nursing any injury. He had a full preseason. I want to see him go at dudes. He's big. Use that big bod.
So I want to talk on this because I also have real beef with this. And I don't have beef with Cade. I have beef with the referees in this department. And I've had beef for years as a whole. I saw this graphic they were showing. It was guards who are taking shots in the paint. And Cade and Ivy are number 2 and 3 on that list infrequently. It's like SGA, Cade, Ivy. I don't remember who the last one was, Luka maybe or something like that. But it doesn't matter. SGA is the 22nd most. He takes the 22nd most free throws. Ivy's like 40. Cade is 77th.
It's crazy.
He gets to the paint that often.
They don't like him.
It's nuts. I have a theory. My theory is he's so big that they're just like not seeing it for a guard because he gets hit and the body moves and he's like so in control. He doesn't like when you watch Maxey, when you watch Burks, when they're there, it's just like this. James Harden flails, right? Even Jimmy Butler flails when he's like up there and stuff.
Yeah,
Cade
throws
doesn't,
arms.
Cade doesn't do that because he's not a Gumby guy. He's a stocky guy.
He's not an inflatable tube man.
Right. He's not one of the he's not out in front of like a used car lot saying, "Come here and give me the foul calls." He's very upbeat. Not upbeat. He's very upright. He's very sturdy. It doesn't matter though if you hit someone's arm, if you hit someone's body, it will change the trajectory of a shot. That's what a foul is. A foul isn't how much did you get hit? It is, did you get hit? Did it change the shot? And the refs aren't calling it for him. The team is good enough now. He's good enough now. He should be getting those calls. He's getting 4.2 free throw attempts a game. That's trash for somebody like him. He should be at the line 10 times a game. Easy. Most of his points are in the paint.
I think refs don't like him. I truly think like, and I can relate to this a little bit, you know, when you're like working a job or like in a situation and you can't hide that pissed off look on your face. I think Cade sometimes throws the hands up. I think he sometimes like shrugs or looks to the refs. And I think he probably spent 1.5 to 2 seasons doing that, losing a lot of games. And I'll bet you refs are just like, and I could be totally reaching here, but I'll bet you refs are like, who the hell is this guy? Thinks he's Luka Doncic.
Who does it worse?
Right. But wins games and performs a little more. But I don't know. I just hope, as they say, winning cures all.
Yeah, I actually do think that as the wins increase, his free throw attempts are going to increase. Fingers crossed. And like also, like if the wins increase, if the free throw attempts increase, he's going to make an All-Star game. He very well could be in the All-Star game this year. People say he's already playing better than the Halliburton is. Like, I don't know how many guards are playing at Cade's level right now, especially in the East. Like, he's on a mission, and I really hope he gets his just desserts. Is that the phrase? I just love dessert so much. I always wanted to say it.
I'm gonna say yes.
Okay, I'm not sure if it's just deserves, just desserts, whatever. But desserts are delicious. So I had to say it. I had to say it, bro.
Had to.
I have one more. I have one more real beef.
Let's do it. Let's wrap it up.
And this is like hopefully a one-time thing. I think it's a one-time thing. I saw it and I was like, wow, that looks awesome. And then I saw what happened. And I was like, this makes so much sense. And as you know, I'm talking about the cursed teal Threesleys, the Malik Beasley. Oops, that's the wrong place for that. It's going back up here. Sick,
perfect.
Dude. Thank you.
Nailed it.
If you don't know what these shoes look like, the person who made them, awesome. Like, I would love to wear these. I think these are dope as hell. Look at those bad boys. They say Beasley and the old Pistons logo. The color is good. It says Threesley on the foot. He's got a fire on the toe. Sick sneaker. He wore those shoes. He shot 1 of 12 in the game. 1 of 12 in the game. If he just shot, if he hadn't played that game, we're talking about him again shooting like 47% from the field, 43.3% from three. Instead, he's shooting 35% from the field and 37% from three. So that one game in these cursed teal sneakers ruined it. Malik, I love you. I want your YouTube show to take off. Congrats on your first 2 episodes. I think that's great. Big shout out to
We
Malik.
should collab.
Let's hit us up, dude. We love you. We love the shoes. Let's collab. We'll bring our massive followership your way. We'll give you some mad props though. We love you as a player. But bro,
yeah, we got connections to Larsa.
Well, maybe. Who knows? Maybe we can make it happen. We'll see how it goes. I gotta see how his family feels about that. But bro, you can't ever wear these shoes again. Like put them in a case. Just they look good. I even saw you said like I don't know if I should wear them. You should take them off a half, bro. They were bad luck kicks. Mickey, tell them what's up.
Yeah, I think what we got here is, first of all, it's got to be the shoes, right? It's like the reverse of that.
The shoes? It's got to be the shoes. Yeah,
it's got to be. But I also think it's a situation of that's why you don't give yourself a nickname. because you jinx it. You know, it's like playoff P. It's like no one called you that, and then you said that, and then you choked in the playoffs. Like there are rules to this, and maybe someone else coined Threesley. I feel like we were throwing it around in our little Google chat, but maybe it's been around forever. But I feel like it's not hitting
I drop
anymore.
it. Yeah. Did you ever try to give yourself a nickname?
No, I kind of just am a nickname,
Mickey?
so it's sort of yeah.
I guess so. I don't know. In high school, I was like, I wanted a nickname.
What'd you
so
go
bad.
for?
Well, like, you know, my name's Harry, right? And
Yeah.
when your name's Harry, you never have a nickname because it's Harry. How many Harrys do you know? No one's
Hair?
hair. I got called Hairball every once in a while. Not much hair. There, Harry Balls.
H dog.
No H dog. There were a lot of H man in our school, but I was Harry because I was the only one. Which is, you know, whatever. I think the other part is like people couldn't say the other H man's name. It was this guy Hiroyuki Toyama, so people would just be like H man instead of like risking it. It's like just learn his fucking name, bro.
This guy.
I know Norfolk's like not the most diverse place. In fact, I think it was like the whitest city per capita for a while in America. But like, just put a little effort in.
You don't have to
Ask him how
brag.
say his name. They call it Snowtown. A winter wonderland out there. But I really wanted a nickname. And so I told like a couple buddies on my swim team, I was like, yo, I want you to start calling me Fresh. Tried to make it happen. One person did it, and it did
Yo,
not stick.
Fresh.
Yeah. Not a great one. Didn't go too good.
Wait till you meet my boy Fresh.
Bro, it would have been dope. I could have lived with it. I knew a dude. I do know his first name for real, but everyone only called him by his nickname, which was Skills, and I was so fucking jealous. I was like, what a goddamn name. Be called Skills?
Was he good at everything?
Not really. He was a big guy. He was kind of like nice. But the name had more skills on like the basketball court than he did, and he wasn't like bad or anything, but like he was just a big guy.
Wow.
Shout out to Skills. He rapped on my first rap album, so I'm happy to have
Shout
him.
out Skills. Fresh says what up.
Fresh didn't even make to the hip hop. In hip hop, I was Harry RM and Absurd. That was my first hip hop name. Absurd. UBSERD.
Absurd. Absurd.
Absurd. Like very. Absurd. Have you heard absurd rap in the European world? Not my rapping style, but.
I'm here for this Scandinavian trap artist. This is take all my money.
Let's make it happen. Put me out there. The Frozen Cold Trap House. But yeah, that's no other nick. I'll work on a nickname for you. I'll try to outside of Mickey Mark Jacobs, the fashionista. In your barista, look at that. In your barista would be something to say. Offensive to baristas everywhere. But that's all the categories I got. I think we covered a whole bunch of stuff that people have issues with, all the stuff I have issues with. You made me feel a lot better about some of the things that we had to talk about.
Likewise.
Yeah,
You talked me off a couple ledges as well. Maybe y'all got some nothingburgs or real beefs. Hit us up, order theblazingHorse@gmail.com. Leave a comment, like, subscribe. Just give us attention. We want it. We feed off it.
We really do. And you know what? We'll give you shout outs on here. Shoot, you could even get on this podcast. You can get on the stream. We'll put you in a game.
It's very easy.
It's well, let's not tell
anyone can do it.
Let's not tell Carl.
Anyone at all.
He's feeling special.
Do you have an opinion about the Pistons? No. It's
actually
rigorous process.
It's probably true. You could probably hit us up and we'll get you on here. But ain't nobody got production values like us for the podcast, son. Ain't nobody got production like us. Who's playing games like us? Who brought you?
Nobody.
Who brought you fashion designers on the show, giving you new City Edition jerseys? Huh?
Characters.
Clowns.
Sacrifices.
That's right.
What more do you want?
Ladies. We got ladies on the show, bro. Where are you seeing that? We're making it happen.
Yeah, we've met some.
Yeah. We have met some ladies. Ladies, if you're feeling this, let me hear you say. And with that, thank you so much for watching. Like Mickey said, like and subscribe. Have a wonderful one, everybody. Looking forward to seeing you around. Mickey, you got a prediction for the game before we get out of here for tomorrow?
Yeah, I think we're gonna get away with the dub.
Woo!
I think we're gonna go on a little. Can you call 2 games in a row a streak?
You can call it the real deal. Let's call it Snake
Call it
Eyes.
the real deal. Yeah, call it 2 in a row, baby.
2 in a row. You know what? If it's a row, that is a run, a little streak. Let's make it happen. Guys, I believe in you. I can't wait to see it. And once again, ladies and fellows.